Right. My name is John Foskey. As part of my Learning Technologies 4121 class, I'm doing a technical demonstration over the foundations of learning guitar. Alright, so let's get this started. If I have to ask y'all one question, and that is, what would be one reason y'all would like to start learning how to play guitar?
Well, I've never been one that's, I've never, growing up, never had the desire to play a musical instrument, but whenever I happen to see somebody playing guitar, and whether they're singing or not, it just certainly looks like a pretty cool thing. And you find somebody who's pretty good at guitar and stuff like that, it's almost as though they develop instant friends.
Okay. What do you think, sir?
Well, it'd be fun to learn to play, and then I can blast my music like I usually do for when I'm on the treadmill and jam along with the music.
Right. No, I do that all the time. It's a lot of fun.
It's relaxing too.
Well, right now I want to talk about the types of guitars and talk about different types of strings and picks that go along with guitars. There are two different types. We have electric, which is the kind that I have right now. It has a cord that plugs into an amp and has pickups. The other type of guitar is just an acoustic. You don't need any kind of electrical components. It plays acoustically, and unfortunately I don't have one to show y'all. There are different types of picks. If y'all want to take a look at the one that I use, it's sort of a medium pick. They go from medium to really thin, where you can bend them very easily, to heavy, which it's almost impossible to bend them. And it actually goes to different types of string sets. They can be heavy, medium, or light as well, which can affect the bending of the strings. If they're really light, you can bend strings really easily. If they're heavy, it's more for, I guess, tuning down guitars. And if you have really heavy strings, it's more for different genres of music and so forth like that. So let's talk about all the different parts of the guitar really quick.
Okay.
Let's start at the top. We have the headstock of the guitar. Comes in all shapes and sizes. As far as picture goes, you can have all the tuners, which are these 6 little knobs up top. Those can be all up on the top, or all separated like this one, just due to the headstock. It pretty much will help with the kind of tone that you're getting, determine what kind of headstock you want. This part right here is the bone nut of the guitar. It holds the 6 strings in place. And we have the fretboard right here. And each one of these silver frets indicates that it's a different note being played. It gets higher as you go up the fretboard. And behind the fretboard you have the neck. Some people like it painted, some people like to sand down the neck for a smoother, like almost woody feel whenever they're playing. It's just all preference. And on the screen it shows that guitar has a whammy bar. This one does not. The one where you can go. But this is just a fixed bridge. It holds the strings in place at the bottom. That's where you put them through to start stringing your guitar. We have the 2 pickups. This pickup right here is called the bridge pickup because it's closer to the bridge. This one is the neck pickup. It's closer to the neck. This little switch right here toggles in between going neck pickup only. You can go bridge only, or if you put it in the middle, it will use both of the pickups while you're playing. Like it changes the tone. So if I were on the neck, it would sound like that. If I go to the bridge, and that's with both of them right there. It's a little of a change in tone, but it's a tiny amp, so you can't really notice a whole lot. These switches down here modify the volume and tone of the guitar, and I guess depending on what type of song or genre you're trying to play, it can really affect your song sounding how you want it to sound. Obviously, I'm wearing a guitar strap, and this strap locks are right here and right here. So let's talk about proper guitar positioning. As far as when you're sitting down and trying to play guitar, it's good to have both feet on the floor. It's whenever you're holding the guitar, usually you'll have it on the right leg if you're right-handed, which is totally comfortable for a lot of people. Me personally, I choose to have it in the middle. I'm not sure why, it just feels a lot more comfy to me. But when you're sitting down playing guitar or standing up, it's just you want to find what's as comfortable as possible when you're playing. It's also good to keep the back straight to avoid getting lower back problems. And your left hand is just placed on the fretboard so you can play some chords. Alright, so I'm going to talk about how to hold the pick, which is really important for playing. Sometimes if you try to just pick it up like this and play, it's very difficult. So what you want to do is kind of curl up your index finger like that, and you just place the pick on top so that it's almost like pointing up out of your index finger and just putting your thumb right on top. You don't need to have a serious death grip on the pick. You just almost want to just set it on the top string and just let it glide to the floor. You can do the same thing going up and going down. You don't want to have a death grip because you almost want to be when you're playing, somebody can just come over there and just take the pick right out of your hand. But as well as how you hold the pick, you don't want to have it at an angle that is completely flat to the strings because that has a lot of tension. It's very hard to pick like that. So instead, you can put it at a 30 or 45 degree angle. So it kind of scoots over to the side. And that way it's a lot smoother when you're going up and down on any string. Alright, so let's talk about the strings. There are 6 different strings on just a regular acoustic or electric guitar. I would say what they're tuned to, but they can always be in a different tuning. If you play a different guitar, there are some 7 or 8 string guitars that have 8 strings. So saying that this string is the E or the B or the G string doesn't suffice. And instead, you can call the strings 1 through 6. And the only weird thing is that you would normally think the string closest to you is the first string on the guitar. It's actually the thinnest one at the bottom. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in E standard tuning, which my guitar is tuned in right now, the first string is tuned to E, and then this one is tuned to B, Second string is the B string right now. Third is the G string. Fourth is the D. Fifth is the A string. And the sixth is also, we'll just call that the low E string. And this would be the high E. So, as part of the foundations for learning guitar, we're going to learn some chords today, just a couple. The chord is 2 or more notes played together at the same time, and these things on the screen are called chord grids, and they show you how to play chords. So, if you didn't know, your fingers have numbers, and the thumb doesn't count because it's on the neck behind the guitar, unless you're playing some crazy blues where you can use a lot of your thumb, but we'll disregard that for today. We'll start by saying that your index finger is 1, the middle finger is 2, the ring finger is your 3rd finger, and the pinky is the 4th. And that'll start making sense here in just a minute. So we're looking at the G chord right now. This one uses all 3 fingers, or just 3 fingers, and all 6 strings, excuse me. So on the screen right here, it has a 2, and that shows it on the 3rd fret. So you go 1, 2, 3. So if you follow the guitar, it's going to be the 3rd fret right here. And you're using your 2nd finger, which is your middle finger. So you're going to place it right there. On the 5th string, you have the 1st finger, which goes on the 2nd fret. So it's going to be the middle finger on the 3rd, index on the middle on the 6th, index finger on the 5th. And it's a little bit of a stretch, but you have the 3rd or the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string. So the chord is going to look like this. All on one, and just plays like that. So that's how you read the chord graphs. So let's.
Can you do that one more time?
Yeah. Sure. You just place.
How do you read it on the?
So do you see where the number 2 is?
Yes.
So that's your middle finger, and it's going to go on. Say so this fret right here.
This one.
Is this one right here.
Okay.
And then it goes 2, then 3.
Okay.
And you're going to place your middle finger on that one. The index goes on the 2nd, on the 5th string.
Okay.
And then your ring finger goes on the 3rd of the 6th string.
So there's 6 horizontal lines, where each one is a string then, right?
So it's kind of like if I chip my guitar up like that. So that's the G chord. Alright. The next one I'm going to show is the E chord. Use all 6 strings once again, so it's all 6. And this time, your middle finger and ring finger are going to go on the 2nd fret of the 5th and 4th strings right there, where it shows. So you're going to go middle finger and ring finger, and it has your index finger, which is number 1, on the 1st fret. So you're going to place it right there, and you play all 6 strings. That's an E chord. Does it start to make a little bit of sense?
A little bit.
I'll ask me if y'all have any questions.
Okay, you have your placement on your fingers, but how do you know what fret to be on?
Oh, let me go back. You see all of them?
Okay, I understand where you place your fingers. But how do you know what fret?
So it has the first fret, which is right here.
Okay, that's what I was trying to, and then the second fret is the,
So if there's no dots on like this first and second and sixth strings, you don't place your fingers. It's an open chord,
okay.
and those are just where to place the numbered fingers. So it'd be 2 on the. Or do you have a question? Or?
In other words, what I was gonna say is, am I allowed to?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I was gonna ask you is, like here, you have, this is the first fret here, and then this is the second fret here, and then this is like the third fret here. Okay, that's my question.
Just as long as I'm making sense.
So there's 3 finger placements on that thing, and the other 3 are kind of considered open chords.
Just open strings.
Yeah, open strings. Okay.
All right. There's something different about this chord graph, and we're going to look at the D chord. If you notice that there are 2 X's, what do you think that means? Right here.
Yeah, see that.
That means you're not going to let the pick touch those 2?
Exactly.
Oh,
Okay.
It's pretty good. But so on the D chord, the 4th string is going to be open. Your index finger, number 1, is going to be placed on the 2nd fret, right here. So you're going to make that. Your middle finger is going to be put on the 6th string for number 2, kind of skipping the ring finger right now. So you have an open, a 2, and a 2. And you put your ring finger on the 3rd fret. And since we're not hitting the 6th and 5th string on this, you just hit these 4 and that produces a D chord. So we've learned the G, the E, and the D chord. Right. So I mean, with these, you know, just having the correct position when you're sitting down, and just even me attempting to play guitar, and knowing how to read chord graphs and things like that, just knowing the parts of the guitar and how they function, I feel that anybody, you know, has a solid chance at picking up a guitar and being successful at it. Just practice. It's the same thing that goes on with anything. If you really want to learn an instrument, it took me more than one shot to get the guitar to go, and once it starts clicking, you just can't put it down. Did y'all have any questions over any parts of the guitar?
Yeah, on the button on the top again, you said that controls the.
So since I'm in toggle up right now, whenever I play a chord, it's excluding this pickup. It's only playing from the neck pickup right now.
Which one do you prefer to play on?
I feel like the neck is more of a cleaner sounding one for playing chords and stuff like that. The bridge is more for kind of riffs, like a Batman kind of sound.
Oh, okay.
Also, the neck pickup is really good for just coming up and doing solos on the high frets. That's what a lot of people just toggle up and start playing notes like that. But anything else from that?
Well, that obviously looks like not a beginning guitar. You talked about acoustic and electric. If somebody were to just be starting out, Is there something a little bit more simplistic?
Oh, absolutely.
So
They
you
have
want to have an acoustic, not something you plug in or what?
they have acoustic and electrics that have like a mid range, like kind of like golf clubs or baseball gloves or anything. They have, you know, the low grade to mid grade to high grade types of guitars that you can just pick up, and they all sound good. So it's kind of like a, you know, using one to learn, and then it's when you feel like you progressed, you can kind of.
The next step.
Mhm.
Now, do they have different types of guitars for, like, you hear music and you have the ones that sound high pitch, and then you have the ones that sound like a real bass type of guitar? Is it the amp or is it the guitar?
There are a lot of effects that people can put on amps, and they actually do have baritone guitars, which this one only goes up from, you know, 0, like open string. The fretboard only goes up to 20 frets. They have guitars that will go up to 27 frets.
Oh, wow. So that's a pretty big guitar.
So whenever they play high, it sounds really high, but whenever they play low, it sounds really low.
Now this might be, I don't want to get too in depth of a question, but something more simplistic answer was, you like to go to concerts and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Now you go out and see a guitarist on stage, is he going to be continually adjusting his guitar based on a different song, whether it's really a slow song or a really gung-ho song? Is he going to switch guitars a lot of stuff, or will you play the same guitar the whole show?
Going
Make
to
adjustments or something.
Going to different concerts, people do switch up guitars for different songs. Absolutely, some songs he may want a different tone out of that. He does, like, he can't get a tone out of this guitar, so he's gonna go play a different guitar for this song. Or this guitar may be tuned down really low, and he needs a guitar in standard tuning, so he'll go grab his guitar in standard tuning and play that instead of having one that's like really low.
So between songs, he may go over and describe a different guitar or something.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So each guitar makes a different, that you have can make a different sound, tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to know what kind of tone that you like.
Exactly. It's all preference.
Over time, the strings on your guitar, if you play it too much, does it wear down the strings?
Mm-hmm. You have to, I'd say about a month, I change strings every month. Mm-hmm.
Is it hard to tune? Or you have to get a professional tune?
I just use a tuner like this, and it's just tuning them up to standard or whatever I'd like
What
to
does it do? Does it like make a digital, how do you know if you tuned it or not? I mean, is it like a digital thing or?
Mhm. It's digital, it'll show a green light whenever I reach the tuning that I want it.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Alright. Well, thank y'all for watching the presentation. Oh my gosh.
Too long.